How's it going? So look, if we convert, so we gonna put type module JSON. Now we can use our import path. Now here lies the problem. If we use the same code, right, and we do not include extension, it's going to compile, but it's not going to run. So compiling is going to fail. So in the common.js, it will compile and it is going to work. But in this one, in ECM, it's not going to work at all. Right? Because you will see that it just fails. Okay? And the reason why it fails is because you see component foo cannot be found. This is because in common.js you have to specify the file path. Okay, so this is what we have to do. Now we specify, we build, now it's going to work. Alright, so now we can see the code is working, so console log happens, and then the image also works, because the reason why image was failing is because the code was failing in here. This was never triggered, therefore there was a no source image, right? So bottom line, when you're using ECM, you have to specify the file path when you're doing the dot imports. So here is an exception to the rule how you can hack it. Okay, so how you can hack it, you can put an alias. Okay, so you can create alias like this, then we put it add components, whatever the hell you want. Woo! My apologies. Then path resolve dear name. Where are the components? It's in here. Okay, so we just type like this. Okay, so now we can use an alias and then you no longer need the path. Okay, so now we're going to you no longer need the file extension. So the ECM strict rule where you have to specify file extension no longer applies when you're using an alias. Alright, so we can see that it compiled, everything is working. Do you see? See what I mean? What is this? Oh yeah, it's a build time variable. Okay. Okay. So bottom line, when you're working with ECM modules, okay, so let's summarize. Let's summarize. 1 sec. Let me just write it down. So, we're talking about resolve. All right, so resolve. If we're using I don't know, when you're it's really weird when you're recording, sometimes tables just don't paste. I don't know, like when you record stuff, technology works differently. I'm talking about some extensions and stuff like that. It's really weird. So common.js resolve will compile but give you error when you do stuff like this. When you do stuff like this. Now, in ECM, EC modules, resolve will not compile and give you an error. Alright? So, to fix ECM modules, right, you need to add an extension. So we're talking about when you're, well, my apologies, when you do stuff like this, right? Because what resolve does is it effectively attaches .js or .ts to the file, so you don't have to specify it, right? So it makes it quicker to import stuff, right? So when it sees this in common.js, it's going to attach .js, but it's going to tell you, hey, .js, probably better to specify it, right? But it's still going to work. In EC modules, if you do this, it will straight up not going to compile. It will tell you, hey, we're using ECM. You have to put the file extension. This is a strict rule. There's no way around it. If you are importing using dot syntax, so dot this, dot that, right? So to hack it, okay, create alias, and the alias is basically like this, and then that's it. Then it starts working. So you go to your Webpack file, you create an alias wherever the files are, and then you just you could be like a, I don't know, gigantic directory where all of them, but the fundamental, you have to use an alias, and this way the strict rule of having extension in the import no longer applies. Okay, take care, bye bye.